What's up? And welcome to Pete's Basement, where Steve broke the light that time. We're broadcasting out of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. We're here to talk about comics, and all things comics, from movies to video games to the funny books you see in front of us. And I want to know pretty much what everybody's reading this week, because me, I just picked up this Green Lantern Sinestro Corps Secret Files, and I was never the biggest Green Lantern fan, but this has a lot of info about all of the different Green Lanterns. Guys like that maybe appeared for like one issue, but were kind of cool. Like maybe you've seen him in a left panel somewhere. He's about this big, and I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting character. Or this fucking is a guy who's a rock. He's just a rock with a fucking ring around it, and he's a Green Lantern because aliens are all over the place.
The whole section devoted toward the Cockmaster Green Lantern.
That was good. Yeah, that was good.
I didn't know that the '60s were that grossly deviant that they could slip in an actual cock. Into each issue.
I think that was on page 11.
A giant green cock with a ring on it. I thought that was nice.
Right. And then he was the master of the other.
All right, boys, now and cocks and stuff.
So speaking of Cockmasters, what do you got over there, Steve?
I picked up some artifacts and Messiah Complex.
Messiah Complex is probably the first X-Men storyline that I picked up in like 10 years. And I got to tell you, it's actually really surprisingly good. It's coherent. It's only, it's only corny in the sense that, they've been doing this now for like 20 years. With every time you pick up a book, someone has taken an atomic shit on the Xavier Institute mansion.
Right.
And it's always located somewhere in fucking Westchester.
I've always found X-Men so incredibly hard to follow. And it's like, what, like 6 different books out?
You know what? There are. They have X-Men, New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and, X-Men Proctologists, fucking, Dancing X-Men at the ballet. But I'll tell you something. That's what I found really surprising about this crossover is it's very coherent. All the writers apparently actually sat down for once and did it right, like
together.
Yeah, and it reads really well.
So you said you haven't picked up an X-Men book in about 10 years. So in other words, I'm led to the conclusion that I wouldn't have to have read previous issues to know what's going on now.
If you pick it up from the beginning of the crossover, you'll get it.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
It is really possibly the most user-friendly Crossover I've seen them put out in literally a decade.
That's a rarity to see.
Most of the characters, though.
Yeah.
So now let's try to avoid spoilers. I haven't read it. Maybe they haven't either.
Oh, and House of M, that is.
House of M is terrible.
House. That's a whole other story.
House of M is the perfect example of how Marvel tends to drop the ball. It'll start out fantastically. It's well written, and then all of a sudden at the end they're just like, ha, fuck you.
You know what? I'll actually go with that. Civil War, I thought they ended with a little bit of cop-out. They ended up whacking Captain America afterwards. World War Hulk was fucking great.
Awesome.
And then
what happened at the end? Did he die? What the hell happened?
He moved to New Jersey.
Yeah.
He's now doing rather well.
So he did die.
He did, and he's working as a
CPA.
He's good as dead, but he's working as a CPA now. He's very happy.
Speaking of dropping the ball, and I have to go on a rant here. What's going on with what happened to One More Day? What have they done?
I only have one more day to clean it up.
Oh, God, they need a lot more days to clear this
Joe
one up.
Quesada means like one more day to clear it as well.
Maybe Joe Quesada is a Skrull.
You know what?
Maybe his master plan was to ruin Spider-Man.
And if that was what it was, he fucking succeeded. When the writer of the book says he doesn't want his name on the last 2 issues of the storyline,
you know something's
that's
wrong.
A pretty big fucking indicator to me that something is going horribly
wrong. I want to bring this up. The last time they erased 20 years plus of Spider-Man's history was the Clone Saga,
and that
I stopped reading comics altogether. I don't know about anybody else.
A black day in comic history.
I'm going to say this though. I feel like that's almost at this point. I think Marvel mostly learned its lesson from that Clone Saga thing.
I hope so.
There were people burning down comic book stores throughout the Midwest. Horrible. There were like mass dork lynchings down in fucking Atlanta.
I heard about the dork lynchings.
It was awful. I lost 3 cousins. I still cry.
I think they call them dorkings.
But either way, I think Marvel mostly learned their lesson. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this.
I'm not saying that Quesada did it purposely to screw up Spider-Man. I don't think he did. Obviously, he must love the character to be the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, but when 80% of your fan base doesn't like the story, you have to admit you fucked up. And what happens when a politician fucks up is they step down.
That's what
or they get elected president.
Here's the ladder, Joe. Climb down out of that ivory tower, take a bow, and say, oops, we're going to put it back. to add a little water to the single malts. It releases the aroma. Not too much though. Oh, that's good. I actually have a 20-year bottle. It's about $100. I'd invest in it if I was you. Speaking of investments, I want to talk to you guys about buying comics on eBay. I don't know if you've noticed, but now seems to be a really great time to be buying Silver and Bronze Age books. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Bronze Age. Uncanny X-Men number 139. First Shadowcat on the X-Men. Practically a mint condition copy. If I were grading it, I would say it's about an easy 9.2, 9.4. Wizard Guide puts it at just about 50, 60 bucks, $13. Plus $4 shipping, priority mail. I had it in 4 days. You just can't beat it. One of the best things I got thus far has been my ASM 46 First Shocker. One of the harder books to find. For some strange reason, I got this for 20 bucks. I can't answer why. I don't know. It just seems to be the way the market's fluctuating now. Everybody's into these fucking variant cover bullshits and white incentive sketch cover chromium bullshit. I'm not interested in that, man. I just, like, give it a rest. Didn't you learn your fucking lesson in the early 90s with these chromium embossed covers and shit? Let's be real here. This is where the gold is. This is the stuff that's going to be worth money in the long run. 20 bucks. $4 shipping. One of the things I'm really working on is trying to get the complete run of Amazing Spider-Man from AF-15 up to the current number. I used to have an AF-15. It was a pretty shitty copy. I sold it for like $6.50. I'm looking to get another one for about $2 grand, but I do have an ASM number 1, by the way, signed by Stan Lee at the last New York Comic Con. That I will be buried with if my fucking kids decide they want to ever try to go near it. Daddy's going to pummel them with a hammer. I don't have kids yet, but that's going to be fucking engraved on their birth certificate the moment I have one. Mark my words. I said it here, and now it's fucking evidence. Put me away. I don't care. It's premeditated, whatever you want to call it. It's done. Now it's proof. It's going on the internet. Everybody's going to fucking see it. Don't go near my goddamn comics, you little brats. What was I saying? Oh yeah, comics. Anyway, comics. I picked up like 5 of these, 150, 167, 62, 75, and 97. Got the whole thing for 10 bucks. Got it from all one seller. It's really good. Each comic is like maybe $2, and they're in pretty decent condition. 150 is a little banged up, but I'll let that slide. Everything else is real nice. Slight spine roll, which is to be expected. Goddamn comics like 20, 30 years old. What are you gonna do? There's really not a lot you can do. Another nice save was a near mint copy of ASM 301. I have 300 signed by Todd McFarlane. That's another one that I'll kill the kids for. This was just a real treasure. It actually cost me $17, but I don't care. It was the last number of the 300s that I needed. So now we've completed 200 and up, working on the ones in the 100s. And this was just an oddball find. So I've read about this one in Wizard. Was Batman Darkest Night, when apparently it was an Elseworlds Tales where he became the Green Lantern. That was pretty cool. It was a nice story. I've heard that there's other stories going on with this Elseworlds thing. I don't really know. But anyway, this one actually ran me about 25 bucks. It's kind of a rare find. And you're going to pay anywhere between like 10 and probably about 20, 25 bucks with shipping. It's definitely worth checking out. It was a good read all the way through. I've been looking for an ASM 41. I still can't find that. It's First Rhino. But I did manage to pick up a Marvel Premiere 15 First Iron Fist. Wizard Guide 150 near mint. I got a VF coming in the mail. Should have been here today. Still waiting on it. 17 bucks. You really can't beat it.
For the most part. Now, keep in mind, I stepped away from Marvel for a while. I think they've actually sort of learned their lesson as far as pissing off their fans.
I think every other book Marvel's putting out is fantastic.
I see a lot of stuff in Steve's pile that harkens back to like Golden Age of Marvel. Yeah. I mean, what are we looking at over here?
The Kree Skrull War,
which is